Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Sister Wives Season 19, Episode 21.
Listen, I told y'all before that we are not going to review the whole episode. We only going to talk about the parts that stood out to us. We watched the whole thing, but we only going to talk about the interesting parts because they're talking about the same thing. Subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. You ready, Blair?
I am.
Let's go.
So we're talking about keeping score in marriage.
Okay.
So Christine kept score. She felt like Robyn had better dishes, better decorations, and she'd be left with scraps of time and scraps of anything.
Okay.
Kody felt like, when you are united, you don't keep a score in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And Robyn said, keeping a scoreboard, what is that? Like, are you guys enemies?
Yes.
Kody apparently was so into everyone looking nice, per Christine. Christine and Janelle, they were out on a family trip for camping, and Christine and Janelle were the ones doing the work during the camping trip. Robyn made sure to do her makeup, do the kids' hair, and Kody was just praising how good Robyn and the kids looked.
Yeah.
Meri said that Kody always wanted people around him to look good. When they were on good terms, he was buying her outfits, and she never really felt pressure about it, but she just appreciated or knew that that's something that he liked. Christine said that as much as she was comparing, Kody was comparing too when it came to the sister wives.
Yeah.
Robyn was on a pedestal, and it seemed like everyone else was lacking. Robyn did say, though, that when they were on that camping trip, she was sick, she was throwing up, and that's why the other ladies were the ones who were doing all the work.
Well, here's the thing, Robyn. When it comes to work, there is actually proof of this past season of you not really putting in your effort. Remember when Kody was helping Meri move and things like that, and she just came over to hug her and basically gave her the don't go type of hug and I'm sorry you're going, and then she got back in her truck and went back?
Yes.
So I don't want to believe, or I choose not to believe, that just because you were sick, that's why you couldn't really attribute to the whole family whole. Now, when it comes to the whole keeping score thing, listen here, right? You have Christine over here saying that she kept score. And then obviously she's using everything in her, evidence against Robyn, because we already heard from Christine's mouth in the previous season that there's nothing Robyn could have done to basically get on Christine's good side. Am I lying?
That's true.
So basically, how can I trust the scorekeeper if you told me from the jump that there's nothing that I can do to basically be in your good graces, right? Kody, we know this whole thing of why keep score? If we all love each other, who's keeping score? Well, of course you wouldn't want to keep no score, because if that was the case, everybody would be pointing at you saying you ain't doing your part. So we know why you don't want to keep score, right? Now, when it comes to the whole everybody want everybody to look good, I think that speaks to a deeper issue, in my opinion. Or it's a metaphor of, hey, on the outside, we may look like a good unit, but really on the inside, we are internally fighting. We are eternally, the marriages are falling apart. The family is falling apart. We never liked each other. But as long as we put on this persona that we all on is one unit, then that's what I think the whole, he want all of us to look good. What is your thoughts?
Yeah, I do think that keeping score in a marriage doesn't work, because each person, even if you're not giving 50-50 100% of the time, you should be pouring into the relationship in ways that, benefits the other person, and it comes back to you as, the longer that you guys are together.
Yeah.
But I do think that when it comes to a polygamous relationship, I think there should be scorekeeping.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think that the one who should be keeping the score is the husband, since he's the one who has to manage his time equally amongst the women.
Okay.
And I do think that, the women, of course, should be mindful of what's going on, but I think that can lead to jealousy. And Robyn did say that they definitely should have worked on their jealousy a little bit more when it came to the sister wives relationship.
Yeah.
But I think that if the husband is truly being fair with his time and his resources, then he's going to, of course, spread his time evenly. But personally, I don't think polygamy works. And I feel like somebody is going to feel shortened at some point in time.
Yeah.
So, and I think that COVID definitely didn't help when he's spending all his time at Robyn's house, and everyone else is just kind of if you're not in the bubble, then you're not with us, pretty much type of thing. So, Yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts about it. But Christine, like you said, like Christine was never going to appreciate Robyn. She always saw Kody as putting Robyn on a pedestal. And I will say a new, fresh relationship is fun. And I think that was having Kody want to spend all his time around Robyn.
Yeah.
And he says these days, like, well, it was true love with Robyn and we were just kind of trying to hold the pieces together and all the other relationships. But he did seem happy to me with the other wives before Robyn came along. And it seems like it's revisionist history when it comes to Kody.
Yeah. But if we want to keep score with the whole Robyn and Kody thing, when do we actually start the scorekeeping? Do we start the scorekeeping at the courting, or do we start it when it's like
once you're married?
Because if that's the case, if it's a new relationship, then of course it's going to seem like I'm doing more if I'm not already doing more, if it's fresh, to your point. So that's why I'm like, I don't think that's fair scorekeeping.
Well, I think Kody needs to communicate with Robyn that once you join the family and this polygamous family, this is how my time has to be, split up. I think that in the courting season, you do make sure that you put in enough time and effort, especially because she's got kids that she's coming in with. You want to get to know the kids as well. But I think that once she's in the family, she has to fall to how the family operates. And that's not what she did. I mean, she got preferential treatment. She did.
I mean, I understand that, but I don't know if I would trust Kody, even though in a polygamous marriage you have to do some scorekeeping. I don't even know if I would trust Kody to do so.
Oh, I wouldn't trust Kody at all. But I'm saying in a perfect world for polygamy, if that even exists, the husband should be the one to fairly divide his time.
Yeah. What else did you think about this scene with the whole Meri aspect and her perspective of the whole, Kody wanted us to all look good and things of that nature?
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't want their partner to look good to them? I do think that when it comes to praising Robyn for looking good after the ladies have been doing all this hard work, it does seem like he's low-key pitting them against each other in ways to where maybe he might be conscious of doing it or unconsciously doing it. But I don't know. I feel like you should want to be attracted to your wives, but I feel like Kody can also pick at his wives for things that he should have more grace for them for. So that's pretty much how I feel about it. I feel like with anything, Robyn was going to be the prettier one, the smarter one, the more fun to be around one, the younger one. So I just feel like when it comes to that perception of wanting to look good, I think that's okay. Like, that's not a bad thing necessarily. But when you're putting people in competition because of it, I think that's where it gets a little rocky.
Yeah, I think there was a natural competition. Here's the thing. Christine and Kody is probably the most alike out of all of the wives and things like that. They both very opinionated. They both are very strong head. They both gonna basically do the opposite of whatever you tell them to do. You get what I'm saying? So I don't know if Christine, and maybe it's not fair for me to say so, was the rotten apple in the bunch, because Meri was definitely going to go along and get along, right? Janelle was going to be the backbone of the family in the sense of working and making sure that at least the money is coming in and that, she's taking care of kids. So Janelle and Meri was going to basically play their part. Christine I think there was no other part that Christine would have wanted to play in this polygamous marriage outside of number one.
Yeah.
Even though she wasn't the first wife, you get what I'm saying? She was the most recent wife before Robyn. So I don't even think when it comes to scorekeeping, even if Kody was a fair husband, which he's not, or wasn't, right? I don't think it was basically destined to succeed, because as long as Christine is basically in this whole unit and she's basically not a polygamous person, even though she got married in a polygamous family and things like that, now she speaks totally against it, right? I don't think it was ever going to work, even if the scorekeeping was even across the board. I think the scorekeeping for Christine would have had to been, let's say if there's 4 of them, okay, I score each person 1 point, but Christine, you get 2 points. I don't think, even if Kody was fair, I don't think Christine would have found it she
wouldn't have been satisfied.
She wouldn't have been satisfied. I actually forget what season, but not too long ago, a couple seasons ago, Kody said, I spent 30 days with her straight just to see can she be happy and things like that in Vegas, I think it was. And I think it was just a point of Christine just wanted to be the only. That's why I think it was always destined for her to be with a David in the sense of a monogamous marriage. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. And the only other topic really that stood out was the conversation of the friendship between Meri and Robyn, which we know was definitely, to me, not a real friendship.
I feel like it was one-sided.
And I think that Meri showed herself to be more of a friend by going to their house and spending time with the kids and all that type of stuff. And any time that we saw that Robyn was at Meri's house is when she was trying to convince Meri to stay. Don't leave. Move to the barn dominium. Everything will be great.
Yeah.
But when it came to like Meri actually like wanting a friend and wanting to connect with her, being that they live in the same area pretty much, like she said, she would invite her to, hey, it's COVID, let's have the kids play outside the front of my house, so that way I can see them. And Robyn response was pretty much, oh, we were all so busy around that time, and we all were just upset that we never really got the time to spend more time together. And I just call that BS, to be honest, because it's not hard to drive over to somebody's house and have the kids run around in the front yard. I think that Robyn just didn't want to. You know?
My thing with Robyn is, I think a lot of us would believe Robyn if it wasn't always the same story with just different variables every time. Yeah,
like, right? I couldn't, or it just wouldn't happen.
The kids or something.
It's always a reason or an excuse to why she couldn't like be there for somebody.
And I think one trait that needs to be had if you want to have a successful polygamous marriage, even though I don't believe in polygamy, you need to be able to stretch yourself thin, right? And I think it was you who enlightened me on Christine was helping with Janelle kids or things of that nature. That's why they built a bond, right?
Yeah.
So there was always somebody stretching themselves thin to cover bases for somebody else, blind spots in the marriage, right? But it seemed like, to Christine's words, that Robyn never had to stretch herself thin. And whenever Robyn is questioned on why she don't stretch herself thin, she is always met with an answer, or we are always met with an answer of, well, y'all know on that camping trip I was sick.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we can buy that.
But everybody else has to find a way to push through to make something happen.
But listen here. If you're sick, you're sick. Listen, when I'm sick, the house shut down. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, okay, you're sick. What about the other times? Mm-hmm. What about the times to where the only time I ever seen Robyn honestly stretch thin or did something out of the kindness of her heart to where she had to go out her way was when Christine Chow had the baby, where like they had the twins or like whatever.
Yeah.
And that's when Robyn was sleeping on the floor in like the closets, things like that. So it's like, other than that, Robyn really doesn't. She really never was called or really had to stretch herself thin. So that's why I'm like, with Robyn, it just come out with a lot of excuses. One thing I noticed too, which was a point of conversation that even Kody and Robyn was having, because I think she's lying to Kody, where she was basically telling Kody in the sense of, like, who said that, like, I needed a polygamous marriage and things like that? Like, who said that I wouldn't be happy with just us two or something like that? Just to paraphrase what she was saying.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you did.
Mm-hmm.
Like then if that was the case, what was the point of you telling him to make it up with Christine, to make it up with Janelle, to make it up with Meri? Like if
and begging Meri not to go.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. If you basically wanted to give Kody the idea that, hey, I understand that, you know, I wanted this, but this is not the end all be all. I'm happy with how we are. Then why were you doing all the other things that basically is the opposite of what you're trying to say now? Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm like, when it comes to Robyn, I don't know if I really believe what she's saying compared to, put it like this, we see how she acted in the moment, and now you get to be in the confessional seasons later and try to explain it away, and we're like, I don't think I really believe what I saw compared to what you said.
Right.
And it just don't come off as true to me.
Yeah. And I do think Robyn, a lot of what she does, at least in relation to Meri, it came across as self-serving, that because you still wanted to be in a polygamous family, Meri's the only one left, even though you know that Kody doesn't go by to see her.
No.
He doesn't have a real relationship with her.
No.
Kody's always at your house, but you still want Meri around. It just, and I can see why her friend, I think her friend's name is Jen, was just saying like, yo, like, what kind of friend is that to see you miserable and to see this man pretty much like not even feed you breadcrumbs, like pretty much ice you out and beg you to stay. Like, that's not real care for Meri. It's really not.
It's not. It's not cool. And now I'm starting to think Robyn don't even like Meri. Now I can understand Robyn. I know Robyn said she ain't got nothing against Christine, but I can understand if Robyn's is lying and saying I really don't like Christine either, because Christine made it very clear that she wasn't gonna like you no matter if you was the nicest person, period.
Yeah.
So the only reason why she's really dealing with you is because her daughter really loves you and things.
But
like
I guess
that.
my thing is too with all the sister wives, I think every single one of them, just as people as we all do, have our own issues. So I do think Robyn definitely has some stuff that she tries to hide or explain away. But Meri, you allowed yourself to pretty much be treated like dirt for years.
Yeah.
And it's up to you to get up and change your life, which I'm happy that she finally did. But goodness gracious, did it take a lot.
You basically wasted a lot of years. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the thing with Janelle, you know, of course she was giving her money and putting everything into the family only to end up with nothing in return. And it's just kind of like, did you see the forest for the trees at any point, or did you just give it your all and at the end of it end up with nothing? And it's just kind of like, at what point do you start to preserve yourself, you know, especially if you guys are in separate households? But maybe that just wasn't her way of thinking. Even till this day, she still believes in polygamy. So maybe she believes if she did it with the right people, then it probably would have served her right. But with Christine, I'm glad she's come to the realization that she's not polygamous, because everything that she was doing and the attitudes that she was having screamed that she just was, I did feel like she was somebody who undermined the relationships and the marriages and everything like that, because I do think that she was very angry.
Yeah,
you know?
Listen, I agree with 100%. Let us know what y'all think. Do y'all think that in a marriage, let's start with a regular marriage, that you should keep score? You said no?
No.
I don't believe in keeping score unless or until the score gets a little out of whack.
If it's like completely uneven and your partner is no longer pouring it.
It's like, yo, I'm not keeping score. If the score is like, let's say if we're going to the score of 10, let's say if the score is like 10-7, I'm like, okay, ain't no point in keeping score. You doing 70%. You get what I'm saying? That's cool, right? But if the score is like 10-2, I gotta be like, hey, come on, man, get me the 5.
Exactly, we need to talk.
You know what I mean? But I don't believe in keeping score unless I'm winning, or like unless it's like completely out of whack. But in a polygamous relationship, let us know what y'all think about that too. Blair thinks that, hey, maybe to keep things in order, maybe the husband, if he's honorable enough, I don't think Kody's that guy.
Yeah.
He may need to keep score so he can, you know, pay,
be fair.
Be fair to everybody. But I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's possible to be fair to multiple people. You know, somebody's going to be
slighted
in some way. But let us know what y'all think. Should we keep score in our monogamous relationships and polygamous relationships? And let us know what y'all thought about this episode. Also, next episode, just because we reviewed this episode doesn't mean that we will review the next episode. We will watch the next episode, and if there's nothing to talk about in the episode, we will not put out a video. But if there is something, even something small, right? Listen here, I'm easy, right? If there's something small that we can talk 10 minutes about or more, I will talk about it. But trust me, we watched Sister Wives before. There has been seasons and episodes to where they just stood on Kody Pass and looked at us
and pointed.
Yeah, exactly. So next episode, next week, I'm not guaranteeing a Sister Wives episode, but I'm guaranteeing that I will watch it and I will try.
All right.
Anything else?
That's it.
Y'all be good.
Bye.